Let's switch to the Big East. Xavier and Seton Hall in a game. Both teams in the tournament right now, 9-8 seed according to Jerry Palm, but not a great game here for Xavier. I mean, they got handled.
They got handled. They're 3-8 in their past 11 games, and the pressure's absolutely on Travis Steele. Now, I don't think Travis Steele is on the hot seat. I don't think Travis Steele is losing his job if he doesn't get Xavier to the NCAA tournament this season, although he's yet to do that. Xavier has not made the NCAA tournament, and even during 2020 when there was no tournament, Xavier didn't have an NCAA tournament level team. But this loss here in this spot, yes, the X-Men are still in position to get there, but they're really slipping. You actually had members of the crowd chanting to fire Travis Steele. It is turning, and I understand it from this perspective. In talking to some people around men's college basketball in the past week or so, you know, Xavier, if you go and look back at their history of coaches, they get to the tournament on an almost annual basis. The fan base is not used to this. This idea that you're not going to the NCAA tournament, and then in a year 4 of Steele's tenure, it's become at least a question. Like Seton Hall getting this win, and really getting an authoritative win. Pirates did themselves well. They get themselves hopefully on the right track. They're like a Michigan State, kind of slipping as of late, got some really good wins on Saturday. For Xavier, I still believe in the team. I still think that they can do well when we get to the Big East tournament, but Travis Steele has to turn this around. The way that Xavier lost, it really wasn't that close. It wasn't that competitive. Yes, there's real reason to have some concern, Hakeem, if you're a Xavier fan. I think they're getting in, but a month ago, this wasn't considered to be possible. This is a preseason top 25 team and a team that I said would be second best to Villanova in the Big East this season. I was wrong.
Well, a team that's not in the picture right now is Virginia Tech. They get a big win against Miami, who's currently an 11 seed according to Jerry Palm. And we know that that Mike Young parlayed, of course, the success at Wofford into the job at Virginia Tech, and he's got them set up to try and make a run here to get a Big Ten, a berth, an at-large berth in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, they could now. Listen, Virginia Tech's not there, and as you noted, Palm had Miami on the 11 line coming into Saturday. My opinion, Miami probably falls out, or is one of the 1 or 2 teams that is in the field right now. As Saturday's games continue to bring in results, the situation will obviously evolve. It is fluid. For Miami, it's had a nice season. Can it just keep up enough? Because the ACC has a situation here where Duke's easily in and trying to maintain, 2-line status overall. Notre Dame is second in the conference, and then you've got this cram of teams. North Carolina did well for itself in getting a win, but Miami's in that picture. Wake Forest is in that picture, and then welcome back Virginia Tech, won 7 of its past 8. Mike Young, I spoke to him in the preseason, and he was so optimistic about this group's potential. He mentioned specifically to me, he said, I think we'll be good in the non-conference, and then come see us once we get to league play around mid-January. Well, they've been on a little bit of a delayed schedule now, but they are at least in position to maybe get there. Virginia Tech now will have a home game against Louisville, can't lose it, and then it will play at Clemson to close out the regular season. In my opinion, Virginia Tech will need to win both of those games to really have itself in a decent position. It's still going to have to win in the ACC tournament, but this is one thing I love about men's college basketball. We look up in the last week of February, and teams that were so clearly on the outside of the NCAA tournament conversation for weeks, and I mean weeks if not months, they suddenly find their footing and they make it all the more interesting. Virginia Tech, if it ultimately does get into the NCAA tournament, it's going to be at the expense of a Miami or potentially a Wake Forest. We'll see about it, but that was certainly a result it wasn't a game coming into Saturday that a lot of people were paying attention to, but you look up and you say, maybe the Hokies got a shot. And Miami now is on much more dangerous footing than it was 24 hours ago.
Yeah, Virginia Tech would close out the season if they finish the season with back-to-back wins, 20 wins. I always feel like if you get 20 wins in the regular season, that's always an extra little feather in your cap when the committee looks at you like, okay, they got 20 overall wins, they're 12-8 in the conference. It really certainly helps their resume.
Yeah, but you know what, I'm going to push back on.
Yes.
Because, listen, here's the one, this is a fascinating talking point that people talk in terms of league record. I never consider league record. Now, it's the ACC, so sometimes people will be like, you're a 12-8 ACC team. North Carolina has a really good ACC record. The committee doesn't look at league record, and I think for a long time in the 80s and the 90s, getting to 20 wins when your regular season inventory was 28 or 29 games meant something. Now teams can play as many as 31 before they play a conference tournament game, so 20 doesn't mean as much, but I will say you're onto something in terms of coaches. When I talk to coaches, like 20-win seasons, that still carries cachet, but in terms of selection and seeding as far as the NCAA NCAA Tournament Selection Committee is concerned, hitting that 20-win threshold, it doesn't mean something. The more important thing for Virginia Tech is that it's finally able just to up its win volume. It's still going to have to get more. It needs more in quad one, but at least it's in the conversation, and just an under-the-radar result it's not under the radar here on CBS Sports HQ.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.